Hello trucker family, this is Kevin with the Trucker Side. We're back here with another video for owner operators and lease operators that are looking into opening their own MC number. So if you're in the category of people that are trying to get their own MC and run 100% independent, you're going to want to watch this video because you're going to be able to understand the difference of whether or not you should do it right now or you should sit back a little bit longer and wait for the perfect timing. The timing and the knowledge is going to be the factor that's going to make you and break you over here. So make sure you follow all the way to the end and understand what the challenges are and what are the things that you need to do before you open your own MC, so you don't hop right into it and then fail gracefully right after. There's a lot of people that want to do it because they think that if I open my own MC, I'm going to get to make a whole lot of money, and that is a bit of a myth. I mean, I'm not saying that a trucking company cannot be successful, but in order for it to be successful, you got to make the right steps, you got to make the right decisions, you got to be on top of your stuff, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about over here. The first factor I would take into consideration is definitely the on-road experience you have. I would say if you don't have at least 2 or 3 years of experience, 2 or 3 years when you've been running the roads back and forth, then I wouldn't get an MC without that. There's just so much hands-on experience that you need to get into understanding lanes, rates, shippers, receivers, what a dispatcher does, what a safety manager does, and all the ins and outs. You're not going to be able to learn all of this unless you put at least 2 or 3 years of driving experience. 2 or 3 years that, if I may add, you want to do more than drive. If you only drive for 2 or 3 years, you don't look left and right to understand what else is happening around the truck, why you're going where you're going, why you're coming back from there. If you don't get some information on load payments and stuff like that, I would say you need to dig a little further. One good way to do this and understand rates better is if you're driving as a company driver and you want to have access to all of this, find a company that will pay you percentage. That way you'll be able to see the gross amount of the loads, and that'll help you start a little situation where you put the money for the loads, you'll be able to see the fuel because you'll be fueling. Yes, there's a discount that you might not be able to account for if you don't have that information, but we can help you with that. We have videos about how fuel discounts work in the industry, so there are means to collect the information is basically what I'm trying to say. So to cover this first point, make sure you have the on-hand experience so you can understand why you're doing what you're doing, and understand that this is one thing that you have to know before you get going, otherwise your operation is prone to failure. Second thing you want to take into consideration very, very seriously is how does your record look like. One major problem I've seen throughout the years, the misunderstanding of how the driving record and your MVR looks like and how does it affect it. Very, very many people are very superficial about the fact that, oh, I got pulled over, but the officer only gave me a warning. Guys, there's no, I mean, yes, there is a warning, but everybody needs to understand that a warning is worse than a violation. Why? Because a violation you have the chance to dispute and maybe remove off your record, whereas the warning will have the same weight as the violation in points. It will have the same impact on your record, but is not disputable. So that's the last thing you want, warnings. Why do you want to make sure that your record is good before pulling the trigger and opening your own MC? Well, most likely you're going to be the first subject to your insurance, so your whole company insurance price will be based on your record. So if your record is not spotless, you're not starting off with the best deal. You're not starting off with the best deal, you're probably not starting off with the best agent, so everything from there is kind of squeaking, but that is not the way you want to start. Take care of your record. Every driver should take care of their record, but even more if you want to open your own MC and everything is going to go based off of your record, you want to make sure that it's spotless. Take care of the driving record, or have some patience with opening your own MC, because it is not the time yet. Third aspect I want to talk about is maintenance. You want to be able to understand maintenance. You want to be able to understand where your truck needs to be, how your truck needs to work in order to avoid breakdowns. The moment you get your own MC and you run most likely as a single truck operation or a 2-truck operation, you got to be considerate of the fact that if you ever break down, you don't really have a backup. You got to fix your truck right away. So if you don't have the system in place where your truck stays in top shape, then it's going to be hard to run your own MC. Situations I've seen, just to give out an example, I've met people, hardworking people, very well-intentioned people. They were trying to get their own MC. They buy a used truck because, I mean, obviously it's the best option you have at that time, and they just want to get it on the road. I understand that you just bought a piece of equipment that was expensive. I understand that your bills are rolling in. I understand you want to get it going as soon as possible, but also you need to understand, if you buy a used truck and you get it going right away, you don't get it through a shop, then you're constantly walking on very shaky ground, because now your truck is out on the road, it's in a different state, it's in a different city. If it breaks down, you're at somebody's mercy. You just started your MC. Now you're stuck on the side of the road or in the shop with repairs you cannot control. And guys, that is shaky ground. I want to insist, if you buy a truck, the first thing you got to do, if it's a used truck, take it to a mechanic. Take it to your mechanic, not just any mechanic. Take it to a person you trust. Get a full inspection on it, bumper to bumper. Even if you're not going to fix everything right away, you want to get that full inspection in, bumper to bumper, just so you have an assessment, so you have a piece of paper in front of you that shows you everything that's going on with the truck, so that way you know what is urgent, you address it right away, and the things that you need to get out and drive with, you have the awareness, you have the knowledge of the fact that the problems are there, and you can address them at your earliest convenience. Next aspect, very, very important, have a cash reserve. Yes, you're not going to be able to have $250,000 in the bank account. It's a lot of money. You don't need that much, but you want to make sure you have $20,000, $30,000. You don't know when your truck is broke down for a week, for a month. Bills are going to keep rolling in. Insurance is going to keep rolling in. Monthly fees, subscriptions, third parties you work with, they're all still going to charge you. You're still going to have maybe a note on the truck, the liability insurance, the physical damage insurance. You never know what can happen to a truck. You never know what can happen to a load. You never know what can happen to you on a personal matter, family matter, or so on and so forth. At this point, you don't really have any backup. You're running on your own. You got your own MC, your own truck, your own insurance policy, your own everything. So there's really no looking left and right, waiting for anybody to help you. So make sure that before you pull the trigger and get your own MC and get rolling, you have at least $20,000, $30,000 set aside. That way, if anything goes bad, you have some reserve to fall on and figure out the problems until you get situated and back up and running. Next aspect that is very important, by the time you open your own MC, you will want to have built some relationships with brokers, shippers. Even if you're not really tight with them, you want to at least know that you know where you can call for some work. You know how the whole process works. I would recommend, if you want to get ready for this ahead of time, there are companies that will let you book your own loads as an owner operator or a lease operator. I do have to say, you might be biting the bullet a little bit. I mean, let's look at it realistically. If you start booking loads tomorrow and you compare yourself to a dispatcher that's been doing this for 10 years, not only has he been doing it for 10 years, but throughout those 10 years, he's been booking loads for 5, 6, 10 trucks or however many he could handle. You need to understand that most likely you're probably going to book less money. I mean, you can only do so much. Time and experience always speaks louder. So yeah, it is a step you got to take. Start calling, start negotiating, start understanding, where you need to call, get a subscription for a load board like DAT, Truck Stop. Set up relations with brokers, get set up with brokers on their own load boards, big brokers. I'm not going to say their names. They have their own portals. They give people access to them just so they can book their freight. So get on there, talk to these people, get set up. Bigger broker companies, you can probably find somebody that you get along with, somebody that you click with, build a relation with that person. stay in touch with them, do good work for them, have good communication, and they will take care of you on the long run. Make sure that by the time you open your own MC, you have a few guys on speed dial that you can talk to. They might not be able to help you out all the time, but they are going to be able to help you in some situations, and that's going to go a very, very long way. Next very important thing, understand how factoring, load boards, back office works. Understand a bit of like safety basics, things you need to file with the state, things you need to file with the DOT, things you need to file quarterly, things you need to file annually, and so on and so forth. Do a bit of due diligence, drop us comments over here. We'll be glad to talk about it and help you guys out. So make sure you understand all the ins and outs before you pull the trigger, because it is going to make your life much more easier and it's going to make your business much more profitable. And then the last one I would strongly emphasize is, if you're going to pull the trigger and get this going, I want you to be ready for stress. This is trucking. This is no walk in the park. Make sure that you're ready for stress, because that's going to make you or break you. And if you can handle stress and you understand all the aspects I just spoke about, you are going to be killing it. Drop us questions if you have any. Send us emails. We're always here. We're always on the trucker side. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it helped, and I hope that you guys are successful when you get into running your own business. My name is Kevin again with the trucker side. Have a wonderful day.